Hey Phillies fans, this is Mickey Morandini, former Phillies player and coach and current Phillies ambassador. We are here at Citizens Bank Fan Field at Citizens Bank Park, and today I'll be sharing with you a few drills that you can do to help keep your skills sharp until we get back on the field. Next we're going to talk about the hitting aspect of baseball, and the first thing we're going to talk about is the bat, and then talk a little bit about setting up at the plate before the pitch comes. Now the first thing you want to do, and a lot of kids won't do this, when you're on the side and you're on deck, all right, it's very important you start thinking about what you want to do at the plate, and it's most important you watch that pitcher and take some dry swings and try and get your timing down before you get to home plate. So as you see that pitcher do a little stance and stride, try and get that timing down so that when you get to home plate, you're ready to go and you're ready to hit. I think that's very important, all right? So one thing I want to talk about is your bat. It's very important you have the right bat size for you. And what I mean by that is you don't want a bat that's too heavy. Because what you're going to find out, and a good test of this is if you're always late on pitches, or you're always popping pitches over the opposing dugout, it could be because your bat's too heavy. And what it does is if you're in a normal batting stance here and that bat is really heavy, what you're gonna find yourself doing is you're gonna drop your hands down because that bat's so heavy and you're gonna create a bad swing, all right? So do not swing a bat that's too heavy for you, all right? It's almost impossible if the bat's heavy to get a normal swing and keep your hands where they're supposed to be. So what happens is the hands drop so that I can get some sort of swing here, and a lot of bad habits are formed. So stay away from a heavy, heavy bat. Now you don't really want to use a too light of a bat either because you're going to find yourself really whipping that bat and being out in front of pitches. Now if you had to choose between a heavier and a lighter one, I'd go lighter, all right? At least it's something you can swing, all right? Now, but you got to find a bat that's comfortable for you in both weight and length, all right? Something that's easy to swing, but something you can get through the zone quickly, okay? So that's going to be something you're going to have to play around with a little bit. Now, the one thing about baseball bats, they can get really expensive because as your kid gets stronger, bigger, you're probably buying a new bat almost every year at some point. And I know baseball bats are really expensive, so try and do the best you can and hang on to the bat that you have as long as you can. Next thing I want to talk about is the grip on the bat. Now it's really important that you do not grip this bat really tight because a tight grip is really going to slow your bat speed down and it's going to affect your swing. You got to be nice and loose in your forearms and your biceps and your wrists. So the looser the grip, the faster your bat speed's going to be. Now with the grip, what a lot of young kids want to do is they want to put that bat right into their palm here, all right? And that's going to create a tight grip, all right? The other thing it's going to create is if you get jammed a little bit on a pitch, that bat's going to go back into your palm here, and it's going to create a bruise, and it's going to be sore, and it's going to be a pain, and it's going to hurt when you swing. So what you really want to do is get that bat on the bottom of your fingertips on both hands, all right? What that does, it creates a nice, loose, relaxed grip. But secondly, when you get jammed, that bat's nice and loose, and it's not going to go against your palm, and you're not going to create bruises there. So there's a couple reasons why you want to have a nice, relaxed grip in the fingertips. Now for you young kids, it's probably going to feel a little bit weird at first, but it should come pretty quickly, and as you get older and older, it's going to be pretty natural for you, all right? So let's talk a little bit about the stance. Pre-pitch, you're coming into the home plate, you want to get ready to hit. Where do I stand on the plate? Now this is what I like to do when I was young. I would put the bat down real quick, and wherever that bat ended up, that's kind of the vicinity I wanted to be in. The reason I did that, I got to be able to cover the outside pitch, and I got to be able to cover the inside pitch. And by doing that, that allows me to do that. So if you can see, when I swing, my bat's over the plate, so I can actually cover a couple inches off the plate. I can also cover this inside pitch here, obviously. So I can cover from here to here if I have to, all right? That's part of the reason I do that. Now, if I'm way back here, all right, and I swing, you can probably see I'm only covering half the plate here, all right? The other thing is if I'm real too close to the plate, all right, obviously I can cover the outside part, but if I want to cover this inside part, I got to get that barrel of the bat way out here. And for me to do that, what's going to happen if I hit the ball? I'm probably going to yank it foul, all right? So a good spot, and this isn't for everybody, but play around with it and see what works for you. Somewhere in here is where I want to be, all right? Now with my stance, anything you do in sports, you got to be balanced, all right? And you got to be able to be on the balls of your feet. There's not one sport I can think of where you stay flat-footed. So you want to be on the balls of your feet, and I don't mean standing up on the balls of your feet, but the pressure's on the balls of your feet a little bit so that you can get into a good athletic position again, like we talked about when we were fielding the ground ball, all right? Now, how you set up here, it's a comfort thing. So you do what's comfortable for you. Some people like to be open. Once in a while, some people like to be a little closed. A lot of people like to be pretty straight up. Whatever's comfortable for you and whatever works for you, that's fine. All right? But you want to be a little bit more than shoulder width apart again. And what the most important thing is where your hands are. All right? So I've got the nice loose grip. They're in my fingertips here. All right? I can cover the entire plate. Now, I want to be ready to hit that ball. What I mean by that is I got to get a little bit of a load. All right, and what a load does, it puts me in position to when that ball's coming, I'm ready to swing, all right? So a load to me is my hands come back a little bit and I get on the ball on my front foot. Now I'm ready to hit. I can hit that outside pitch, I'm ready for that inside pitch, and I'm ready to go, all right? Now for me, as a hitter, I always wanted to sit on a fastball, all right? For you young kids, always look fastball, all right? As you get older, then you can start to look for other pitches. But as a young player, always look for a fastball, all right? The last thing I want to talk about here is hand positioning. When you get ready to swing, your hands normally want to be somewhere shoulder width, shoulder height, all right? Now you'll see some guys that have their hands up here, but when the pitch starts to come, they bring them right into position. So I don't care where your hands are to start out with, but as you're getting ready to swing, your hands should be somewhere right off the shoulder, all right? Now you always hear the Uncle Bobs and the Aunt Marines or whatever their names are say, get your elbow up, get your elbow up. That's not necessarily the case. Now, elbow up is okay to a point, but once you start feeling tension in your forearms and your shoulders, that means your elbow's too high. Remember, I want to create as least tension as I can in my swing. So if my elbow's down and I start to bring it up, once I get to a point where there's no tension, that's where I want to stop it, all right? If I get way up here, I can feel that tension in my shoulder. It's going to create a really slow swing, all right? So don't listen to Uncle Joe all the time, all right? And then you want to get that barrel of the ball where you see this white tape. That's where you want to try and hit that baseball in the barrel. The people that barrel balls up the most are going to be the most successful, all right? So that's something you can work on. Now in the next video I'm going to give you a bunch of tee drills to do to make sure that you're hitting that ball on this sweet spot.